Brad, we watched Home Alone last night.
It's classic. It's the time of year for it. I endorse it.
I started it's damn near a perfect movie. I kind of wonder why nobody's made an immersive sim video game of Home Alone.
Interesting.
I mean, there's a bad NES game.
Yes, true.
I mean, maybe it's not bad. I don't remember, but I assume it's bad given the era and the license.
You probably could very easily do a sort of recognizable but non-infringing version of Home Alone in video game form.
I mean, I bet somebody's actually done that when I think about it.
Probably.
I never realized it.
That sounds great. Actually, the more I think about planted a seed now, that actually sounds pretty rad. Just defend a house. There's tools everywhere, built-in traps, physics.
Like, well, this was when we did, we had, what's his name that did Breaking Bad? Vince Gilligan. Yeah, we had him on Tested once.
What?
And Adam, yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we had a Vince Gilligan interview on Tested right after the end of Breaking Bad.
What?
Well, Adam did that talking room show.
Right, Adam, of course.
Yeah.
Has connections, knows people.
Yeah, so we had Vince Gilligan.
Able to pull famous people, of course.
We went to LA and had we recorded stuff with Damon Lindelof and Vince Gilligan in the same 3-day trip. It was wild.
That is wild.
But we had Vince Gilligan on coming off the end of Breaking Bad.
Was it to talk about the car trunk gun thing?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
But one of the things we talked about was their writing strategy for each episode was to write themselves into a hole. And then literally the writers would be on set and they'd walk around the house where they were shooting and look at things that they could, they would look for things in the environment that the set designers had just put there so it looked like a normal house. And that's how they came up with the U-lock that they chained the guy to the post in the basement with and all this other stuff.
So they showed up to shoot the episode without an ending written?
No. The writers would be on set and they would adjust stuff as they went.
Oh, okay. So they had an idea for an ending, but they would just tweak. Okay, that's a little less irresponsible.
As he said, they had ins and outs that they knew they wanted to hit, but they kind of they were improvising the other stuff along the way a lot of times. Or they'd get there and they'd realize something wouldn't work and they'd have to change it or whatever. And the reason they did that one was because they knew that there was a motorcycle in the house and they were like, oh, he has a motorcycle. He'll have a U-lock and we can use the U-lock to keep this guy prisoner in the basement before we have to murder him or whatever. And I think Home Alone works really well in an ImSim way.
Yeah. Literally Googling the
Oh, somebody already done it?
Yes, but are you ready for the monkey's paw to curl?
Oh, no.
It's in Roblox.
Oh, fuck, I knew it. I knew it was going to be a Roblox or Fortnite thing.
There is full-on a thing called the Home Alone experience in Roblox.
I don't think that's going to be what we want.
That may not be the same thing, actually, now that I'm looking at it.
No, I want to have, waves of people coming at the house and have, a build period and then a defense period.
Yeah.
And maybe I should stop talking about this and just email it to myself so I own it. Like
Rube Goldberg traps.
Yeah.
With a lot of physics involved. And man, that does sound pretty rad.
The thing about it, watching it is the traps aren't super complicated, right?
Yeah,
it's just he puts just glass light bulbs and matchbox cars and paint cans on strings.
How many systems do you need to model for this? Slippery, sharp, sticky, hot,
feather.
Yeah, sure. Like the
saran wrap.
Yeah. Look, this is all I played Breath of the Wild. This is all doable.
Yeah. These are straightforward verbs and you just need to be able to combine them in a bunch of interesting, weird ways.
Somebody should go make that.
Man, if only I knew somebody who made video games. Welcome to Brad and Will Made a Tech Pod. I'm Will.
I'm Brad. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. I guess this is the Sunday before Christmas, right?
It sure is.
It's the 5th day of Hanukkah or something, I think.
Sure.
6th maybe, I don't know, October.
Something like that.
It is, we're doing something that we kind of done before, but not really, I think, this time.
It's a time for reflection, let's say.
Yeah. And we didn't want to do like I feel like two people does not make a great superlative pod. Like if we wanted to do a best tech, A, it's a really broad topic, but B, us just talking about it ends up being kind of less interesting because there's only two of us. If there were four of us, I think it'd be a different story.
Yeah. Also, this is not necessarily like our full-time thing. So we are professional on some of these topics and hobbyists on others, like our expertise varies by topic and we can't cover everything. So it would not be a comprehensive like best and worst necessarily.
Yeah. But I feel like we are in a unique position to talk about things that we found noteworthy this year.
Yeah.
So we're doing a year in review.
We're tastemakers.
2025 Tech Pod year in review.
Yeah. Things we like.
It's like in the old days when you get a magazine and at the end of the year, they'd be like, hey, if you send us another $25, we'll just send you a bound copy of all the magazines from this year.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, wow, that would be great. I'd love to have a bound copy of all my copies of TV Guide for this year. That'd be great. Then I know it was on TV on March 13th, 1983.
Look, I know I am getting into my dotage here in my old age, so this is unsurprising, but you might be surprised, though, how often recently I have wished that I had TV guides or like the local newspaper listings for our local stations from like the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh.
Like I have scoured the internet for example, WHNS 21, Fox 21's out of Spartanburg, South Carolina, their programming guide from say like 89 to 93. And those things just don't exist anymore, but I wish they did.
So yeah, this is I've gone down this hole occasionally, but there was a local like kids show. There was a local kids show that was broadcast out of an Asheville station that we could only get in the winter months. And it was like, it was like a Krusty the Clown style, like the host was an old guy that wore a cowboy costume, like Howdy Doody kind of vibes. And it was only on Saturday mornings at like 6 a.m. when I was really, really little, like 6 probably at the oldest.
Was that like an atmospheric thing? Like the dry air allowed the signal to reach further or something?
I think in the winter we get less solar radiation, maybe. So thus the radio signals go farther with less interference.
I would believe that.
And also it was dark, so the sun wasn't out at 6 o'clock in the morning in the wintertime. So
that's for sure.
Anyway. But this isn't the 1981 year in review. This is the 2025 year in review.
Maybe we should do a 1981. I was 2.
We should do a 1981 year in review also. That would be really funny. But yeah, so we're going to talk about some things we like. We're going to talk about a couple of things we don't like. We're not going to linger. There's plenty of stuff to not like this year.
Yeah, we are not going to talk about the political situation or the DDR5 supply crunch. Or,
we think that they suck, just to be clear.
Or
both
AI,
of them.
AI shitting everything up. I mean,
AI sucks.
Those are all givens, and we've talked about them a lot.
Yeah, so we're not going to, but we are going to get into some things that we don't like, and we're going to do it in the middle of the show so we don't end on bummers, because I realized the way we have this set up right now, we're ending on bummers, but we'll take like a break somewhere in the middle and be like, okay, let's talk about some stuff that sucks for a minute.
Yeah, these are more like Andy Rooney bummers though, and not like society destabilizing bummers.
You know what grinds my gears? Yeah. Okay, so you want to? I'm going to kick it off. My first one, not a surprise. Year in review, things I like.
Yes.
Turns out Linux on the desktop, pretty fucking good.
Whoa.
I know.
Is this the year of the Linux desktop?
So I started like midway through 2024 joking that 2025 was going to be the year of Linux without, because I've done that for the last 20 years. I figure eventually I'll hit, right? It's like, you predict, you Nostradamus your way into this and eventually you're right. But no, it's good. It's real good. I had no idea. I think a lot of it is Valve for my personal use cases and the way I use PCs where it's a mix of work and game stuff. The work that Valve's done on Proton and AMD drivers and all the supporting stuff that goes into making that work has been really transformative in that now the only things I have to reboot for are like Fortnite games that are explicitly designed to not work on Linux. And there's been something really empowering about taking my computer that's the same as it's been for a long time and making it really super duper my own, not just in a cosmetic sense, but like in the way that I work and the way that I think about the computer and the way that I think about how I work with the computer. And like tiling window managers are a big part of that. Neri is like literally everybody I know that has been like, okay, I thought you were crazy when you were talking about how good this scrolling tiling window manager thing is. and then they try it and they're like, no, you were absolutely right. This is unbelievable. And it's changed the way I think about how computers work. So yeah, it's been really transformative for me. It gave me the impetus to finally drop my Adobe subscription for the first time in like 15 years.
Yeah.
I'm appreciating, you've talked about this in the past, and I think I didn't really internalize what you're talking about, but like there's a difference between figuring out how to do something and then actually learning how stuff works.
Yes, I have absolutely experienced that arc as well in my Linux trials and tribulations.
Yeah, and there's something like one of the neat things about Linux is because it's all built on systems that are designed to interact with each other, regardless of whether it's like System A is designed to interact with System B. It means
I'm sorry. Did you say System B or System D?
I'm not. Look, we're not to System D yet. I'm still on System A. But like, I guess what I'm thinking about is like the way Linux is set up, the way it draws desktop is based on all these kind of unrelated things working together through well-defined APIs and methods. And it's almost all configured in text files, System D aside. We'll talk about that on another episode at some point, I'm sure. But it's actually something you can understand how it works. And like one person isn't going to understand how the whole thing works, but like you can get to a point of deep knowledge on things relatively quickly because there's a lot of documentation. And also you can kind of just get in and futz with it and figure out, like you can tinker with it in the same way that you tinker with a car, like an old pre-electric car.
Yep.
It's very good. I've enjoyed it a lot.
Especially in an age where everybody's got an old computer or laptop sitting around, or you can just run a virtual machine. Like there's so many ways to sandbox it in a way you can just play with it and not worry about breaking anything important or that's going to disrupt your workflow. That the tinkering possibilities are limitless. The thing you said about making your computer yours.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever really said this because I'm not sure it actually cohered in my mind until later. That's the reason I got so deep into like trying to master Secure Boot earlier this year, or like why I kind of still am intending to start encrypting all of my drives eventually. Like it's that same impulse. And I've said before, some of this descends from the state of society, let's say, and the need to feel like you have control over something in your life, but like locking your computer down and making it do exactly what you want and nothing you don't want is kind of exactly why I got into that stuff. And it's the same reason Linux is exciting, or FreeBSD or Haiku or whatever. Like I kind of feel, and here I go. I'm not joining the Free Software Foundation, I swear.
Oh, here he goes. The beard's coming in.
I kind of feel like the future of computing should be non-commercial operating systems. Like hot take, perhaps, not lukewarm take in present company, I guess, but like the less profit motive, ideally zero in your operating system, the better. I'm not going to I'm going to exclude like everything from Dropbox to Steam to, services run by companies that want to make money. Fine, whatever. You can install those on top. But like the operating system, I feel like should be kind of sacred ground where nobody's trying to make money. They are just trying to give you a solid workable platform to use your computer. And like, to take it all the way, like that's why I tend to lean toward like your Debians and Fedoras, the community distros, and not the, there's nothing wrong with Ubuntu if it's working for you, but like Canonical is a company that wants to make money off of Linux. Red Hat is a company that makes extraordinary amounts of money off of Linux. And like there are plenty of community distros that are just there to be used and not to make money. And like that just kind of gives you a reassuring purity of focus on their part, and to be clear, community distros come with downsides. Like there are certainly, nothing, stop me if you've heard this, nothing in computers is perfect.
No. And I was just say the baggage with community distros is that like in a lot of cases, they're not just not making a ton of money. They're not making any money. I think Framework sponsored Cashy the other day. And the Cashy people were really excited. They're like, this is like 10% of all of our revenue. And it was $250 a month. And I was just like, wait, what? That's it?
It's insane. Okay. So I've got another unrelated topic on this list that we'll get into funding of open source in a little bit. But if you remember the last time we went to the flea market, which I'm also about to talk about. When I talked your ear off about a System D network D bug that made its way into Debian, and there was a big fight on the mailing list with some real classic open source sniping at each other.
Yeah.
About whose fault it was and how fast it should be fixed and all this stuff. But one of the arguments that really it came down to was somebody that was part of the Debian project saying, this is a bug that is going to affect more of our enterprise and corporate customers. And that is very likely to hit the funding that they pump into the donations that they pump into the project. And so, yes, you're right. Like funding is kind of the constant problem with the community distro. And that manifests in, like packages might not be fully up to date in every case, or like the wiki might have gaps in it because nobody wants to spend their free time updating it. So like there are downsides there. But anyway, I'll get off the soapbox right now, but like I'm excited that more people are embracing the idea that like the hardware you buy should be made to do what you want it to do.
Yeah.
And it should be free, as in speech, I guess. Please don't let me turn into one of those people.
Well, it's really nice to be able to take something and not just adapt yourself to how it works, but instead adapt it to you.
Yeah.
And that feels like an essence of tool making that I hadn't, like the last time I tried Linux desktop, it wasn't possible to do that. Anyway,
right.
what do you got? You want to hit flea market? You want to get in?
Yeah, I've got a couple that actually I just mentioned sort of here. So what is the official name of that flea market? The Saratoga
Bay Area Electronics Flea Market.
Saratoga Electronics Flea Market, something like that. Okay, technically I'd started going to that last year. This was also my second year going to the Vintage Computer Festival at the Computer History Museum in Mountain View.
I'm bummed I didn't get to go to that. That sounded amazing.
So good.
We were in LA, I think, that weekend.
It's like the electronics flea market times 1,000.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful to, first of all, I have not had a whole lot of a social life since before COVID started. Like the lockdown transitioning into 5 years of working for myself from home. Maybe not been the best for getting out of the house and seeing people.
Look. Yes, I like going to PC World 2 times a week.
Yes, and
it's been healthy for me. It turns out.
And to be fair, I'd say about 2 times a week at an office sounds about ideal. Maybe not 5.
No, yeah, like 2, 3 at the most is what I would want, I think.
Yeah, and also the crew that we go to those things with are like extremely my people, let's say.
Yeah, it's a bunch of sweaty nerds. It's really fun.
People who are into exactly the same deeply nerdy shit that I am.
Yeah.
Anyway, I realize not everybody has the geographical advantage of living kind of a stone's throw from the birth of the computing industry, so I'm like very lucky in that respect. But like, there are like 6 vintage computer festivals around the country or something. There are probably like electronics focused flea markets and screwdriver shops kind of all over the place.
I don't know how many screwdriver shops there are anymore. My bet is that there's like ham festivals and stuff like that have some overlap with this.
Yeah.
But this is from what I've been able to tell, talking about on this podcast and talking on the PC World podcast, this seems fairly unique. The Bay Area Vintage, the Vintage Computer Festival and the electronics flea market.
Yeah. Well, but look for what's around. If you
finding your people is good.
Finding your people and finding like stuff nearby that represents the things you're into. Like you might be surprised.
The thing I've noticed at the flea market that I really like, and actually my daughter's expressed interest in going because she's a Stranger Things kid and loves 80s stuff as a result, and is like, they have cassette players there, Dad? And I was like, yeah, they have cassette players. You want cassette players? We got cassette players.
I hear Gen Alpha is way into 80s technology.
Yeah, so they like the analog stuff. It's like that, what's that game, Routine, that has the Sony, like the weapon.
Oh,
have you played this?
The one that just came out?
The one that just came out?
I really want to play Routine. It's on my list.
The gun that you use looks like it was designed by Sony in like 1983.
Great.
It's very good.
Great.
But yeah, it's been really fun going to that and seeing those people and seeing more young kids there.
Yeah.
And just like sitting down and talking to somebody who had like, I remember one week, I don't remember if you were there, but there was a older woman who had a buttload of quantum Bigfoot drives, which was like a 5.25 inch hard drive from the late 90s. I was like, why do you have so many quantum Bigfoots? She's like, oh, my dad worked at Quantum.
Wow.
And just had a bunch left over when they shut down or got sold or whatever that he put in the garage, and I found them. So here they are. And I was like, okay. And there's a lot of that. Like, I want to say friend of the show, Steve, when we were down there one time was like, yeah, this seems like the kind of place where people who stole a bunch of stuff from their office like 20 years ago come to get rid of it when they're cleaning their garage.
That's like half of that flea market. That's why there's all kinds of DEC alphas and SGI machines. And anyway, again, I know I'm lucky to have access to stuff like that, but if you're into similar stuff, look around. I didn't know about that flea market until late last year. And so this was the first year we went into the year geared up and ready to go to every one of them, or as many as we could. And it was
I
just
think we only missed one or two.
Yeah, it's a nice way to get out of the house and kind of have some community again around something that's very fun.
Well, and just to be clear, I don't like, none of us are buying a whole lot there.
No.
You bought that porn.
Come on. I feel like that still needs to be qualified. It is a BBS ready CD of vintage erotica from the 90s, which is still in the shrink wrap.
Sure it is, Brad. I bought one CRT. My wife would have been much happier if I came home with porn instead of that second CRT, just to be clear.
That CD doesn't take up a lot of space. I did go on archive.org to see if it was on there, and it's not.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm actually sort of tempted to open it and image it and put it on there.
Put that porn on a BBS and then send them a link to the BBS and be like, hey, we got some fresh 90s porn here. Can I spin off of that from CRTs coming back into my life, which is one of my list items?
Yes, I'm piggybacking on this one because I also came into a CRT this year and it's fun.
Yeah, I went that first electronics flea market. I think we were walking around and I saw my vintage, like the TV that I grew up playing the NES and TI-99 4A on, which was an old GE, I think it was built as a portable, like 10-inch TV or 9-inch TV or something like that. And so I paid $40 for that without hesitation, brought it home and started playing games on it. It's a little janky because it's RF only and not great. And then the last electronics flea market of the year, we were walking around and there was somebody selling like a 19-inch Trinitron, I think.
Yeah, or 20, something like that.
20-inch Trinitron. It's like I would describe these as like, that is the TV that I wanted when I went to college and I bought a TV, and instead of paying $500 for a TV, I bought like a $200 Sharp probably. Because it was, nearly as good, and $200. And oh my God, it is so nice to have a fancy TV to play. It's so much better to play games on.
I don't mind saying again that I wish I had bought that TV.
But that guy has been there multiple times, and he said he had more TVs. He said that was the last one he had that day. Okay. So your time might come in the spring.
Yeah. Well, hey, a friend of the show kindly gifted me a 14-inch Toshiba, though I think we talked about that earlier this year. 14-inch, good size for an apartment.
Good size. Yeah, the 20, like, I wouldn't mind. I would take a 14 over the 20. The 20 is a bit big, but it is nice when I'm playing 4-player, like Mario Kart 64 or something.
Yeah. For a 14, I do kind of have to roll right up to it, but that's fine. The TV was a sidewalk find, actually, in San Francisco, but and it's got, I think I've talked about this before, it's got a shocking range of inputs. It's got everything from RF and composite through S-video and component, like kind
you
of
have component on that. There's component on a 14.
Component is apparently like a very rare component on a screen that small. So
yeah, that's wild.
Pretty excited about it. I think getting back into CRTs is going to be the thing that requires me to at some point get more comfortable with electronics repair, because the last couple times I've turned it on, I've heard a little bit of a kind of a ticking sound coming out of it.
Sometimes that's just a piece warming up, but sometimes it's impending doom.
Sure, it's just settling in a little bit. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But
yeah, look, that GE had a real good burning dust smell the first few times I turned it on, and then that worked itself out.
Yeah.
And like the switches were a little janky at first, so I blasted them with some contact cleaner, and then they were fine.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I am also very interested in the other direction of this, which is like modern, the retro tanks of the world using FPGAs to massage digital signals to look analog, to look shadow masked, etc. But that's a $700 piece of equipment. Like the CRT is both more authentic and cheaper to get into, and so I think that's a fun place to start.
I will say I really enjoyed the time I spent with one of those high refresh rate OLED monitors and the shaders that blank out and like mimic phosphor glow. Basically, it was really, really nice.
That Blurbuster's CRT beam simulation shader is something I hope to play with one day.
It is. That thing is magic.
Yeah.
What else you got? You want to hit one?
Speaking of magic, I have spent about a week with these AirPods Pro 3 now.
Was I right?
I'm not the only one to say this. A couple people on the Discord also, I think, said this in the wake of that last episode, at which point I had not tried them yet. They seem like they might be kind of life-changing.
Dude, they would be on the top of my, hey, here's some stuff I love list every single year.
I try to be conscious of not coming off too much like an Apple zealot on this podcast, because I know plenty of people that listen don't use or care about Apple stuff, but can I describe the extent of my pairing actions regarding these? I mean, you know what they are because you own a pair.
Yeah.
I pulled them out of the box. I opened the case near my iPhone, and a big thing popped up with a button on it that said pair.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And now it's also paired with every other Apple device you own.
And now whatever Apple device I am using, and I play podcasts directly from my watch all the time because I like to go out and exercise without my phone, just because it's a bulky, expensive thing I don't want bouncing around in my pocket. And like, the idea that audio just plays to those headphones out of whatever device I happen to have on and am using at the time is just kind of insane.
Wait until you get a new Apple TV.
Yeah. Yes. Like, oh wait, and I won't even have to pair it with those, right?
Nope.
Or with that.
And like, if you guys want to watch something together, but not be loud in the room or whatever, because it's late or just like you're, whatever reason, you can both pair to the same TV.
That's cool.
At the same time. They are transformative technology. It's completely changed the way I think about Bluetooth and wireless headphones. And when you're using, like, if you get to a point where you're using Linux more, there's even tools like LibrePods that lets them work with Steam Deck and Linux desktops and laptops in the same way.
So I've been afraid to pair them with any non-Apple thing because I'm worried about it like kind of interfering with the magic. Is that not a problem?
It's usually okay. Sometimes it's weird. I feel like it's gotten better over the years since they came out.
Okay. Like
the first pair that I had, it was a little bit of a hassle sometimes.
Yeah. Like in particular, I was worried that if I pair them with something else and then come back to the Apple stuff, do you have to pair it again with the phone before it'll?
No, it'll save multiple pairings, but you might have to connect to it the first time you bring it back into like,
that's okay.
Like if you pair it with your Switch, you'll have to go and connect to it with the Switch, and then when you bring it back to the phone, usually you have to connect to it again.
Okay, that's fine.
But that's it.
But like they just and we have had our first kind of magic moment a couple days ago of me realizing we both had the headphones in, excuse me, listening to something, and we just started talking to each other.
And it works.
And like we were just able to hear each other, and it paused our audio as we were talking seamlessly. We can interact and listen to podcasts at the same time. They're expensive, but I mean they're literally 8 times more expensive. I have only ever owned cheap, crappy wireless earbuds, like $20 to $30 earbuds, and these are quite a bit more than that. But so far, like between the sound quality, also the noise canceling is amazing. Like the
microphone quality is really good when you call people too.
Like the gestures on there's a tactile pad on there, so you know exactly where to press, and there's haptics in there, so you know when it's registering that you're changing volume or changing modes or whatever. They just are.
That's new, by the way. That's not in my twos.
Really?
Yeah.
So now there's a little it's just kind of a little indentation on the front of the stem, so you know exactly where to touch to register.
The indentation's there, but there's no like haptic feedback on it.
Okay, so there's just a tiny little click in the same way that the trackpads on the laptops have a fake haptic.
Oh, it
click.
might do that actually.
Anyway, they're just incredibly like. Sometimes, again, my MO is always to kind of buy something cheap and disposable because what if I want something better later? And then I always just continue buying the cheap and disposable thing. But sometimes it's nice to trade up to the good thing.
I will say I bought mine right when they came out. Because I wanted the ones and I bought the twos. I might have bought the ones and given them to somebody else. I can't remember, but they were immediately good. Like I was immediately thrilled with them, and I kept I bought the Apple Care on them when I bought them, and they swapped them because the connection and the ear detection was getting wonky, and they just gave me a new refurb pair at the end of the Apple Care period.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's they're one of my all-time favorite pieces of technology. I'm glad you're enjoying them.
Oh, thank you. And now I am staring at the Apple Care notification and settings, which straight up has a timer ticking down. You have 54 more days to sign up for Apple Care. Now I'm thinking for a wearable that are something this tiny, maybe I don't know. Maybe I should look into that.
The thing I figure, well, so here's the thing: you can they sell for $250. You can usually get them for $200 if you don't mind waiting a little bit and waiting for them to go on sale someplace.
Yeah, that's what I got them for with that gift card back.
Yeah, and
effectively,
and like I think the Apple Care worked out to $2 a month when you paid for it a year in advance, and I was like, it's $50 on $200 is a little bit iffy for me.
Yeah,
but since I was able to go in and be like, yeah, I have this problem that was kind of impossible to replicate, and they were like, oh yeah, we'll just give you a new one. It's no big deal.
Oh, they didn't even care about verifying it.
They looked at the logs on them and were like, oh yeah, something's weird here.
Huh.
And they made sure it was clean and all that, like because the detection areas get dirty and then it doesn't detect right.
I wish I could read the logs on my I'm doing it again. AirPods.
I think you can
actually.
Wait,
what?
Yeah,
How?
I think I could pull them. I think there was a way I could get them from the debug folder in the config on the phone. I can't remember.
This bears further investigation. I'll report back.
Okay, I got to shout out communities this year because launching the Dual Boot Diaries kind of smashed all of my different communities together with one common cause.
Mm-hmm.
So people in like the Twitch community and the TechPod community and the Full Nerd Dual Boot Diaries community and all the YouTube comments, everybody has been incredibly excited and supportive and helpful. And there's not been a lot of like, yo, you should just read the man page or post the right format for the bug report and all that stuff.
Yeah.
People have been really cool. And the Linux community has been a delight, contrary to every other time I've done this, where there's some sassy neckbeard saying, yeah, have you considered reading the fucking manual? So shout outs to communities rule.
You know, I like to think the sassy neckbeards are in a distinct minority, but then again, you only remember the sassy neckbeards.
I think the other thing is that more new people are coming in and are remembering how much nicer it is if you don't get yelled at by some grumpy old guy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, this is not the Gen 2 forums or something.
Hey,
apologies.
I think the Gen 2 forums are probably fine.
You're probably actually. I just picked a hardcore Linux distro out of thin air. I apologize to
Slackware. It's the Slackware people that you got to watch out for at this point.
Yep.
You wanted to hit one? You got another one?
Yeah, I've got one more. It's not really exact. It's more tangentially Linux related. It's more open sourcey, but let's do something non open source operating system. I could do
one. I got one for you.
Well, okay.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Let's do this pair of Switch related ones.
I was going to say that's what I was going to pull out actually.
Okay, I got a Switch 2 as we talked about. Mm-hmm. The thing I'm calling out here is screen protectors have gotten kind of foolproof from what I can tell.
Did you get the one with the plastic frame that you just snap on?
So that's kind of the crazy part. I think they're all the one with the plastic frame now. I think you technically could find like a sub $10 Switch 2.
You
screen
can
protector
get the ones without the frame.
But even the like $12 AM film that gets you two of them, I think it was 12 last I checked. An AM film is a good one. That's what I had on my Switch 1. Even that one comes with the installation frame now.
I buy the Spigen ones, I think.
Yeah, that's the other one that I see called out quite a bit as being good.
They're good. I've cracked a couple on my phone, and when you complain to them about it, they just send you another two.
Yeah, that happened to me with the my set of AM film on the Switch 1. I had like some minor issue with one of them, and they just sent me a whole brand new set of two.
It just shows up from Amazon or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I used one of the Spigen ones on the Switch 2s in the house here. I think the Switch 2 actually only comes with one for the Spigen one.
Okay.
On the phones, they usually give you a 2-pack.
Yeah. So for the Switch 2, I paid the D-brand surcharge because it was a work purchase, and I wanted to see if it was worth the money. And it's a lot for a screen protector. It's $35, but they were talking it up so much. I was like, okay, this is worth putting on the company just to see how well this works.
Yeah.
I got to say it was completely flawless in 2 minutes.
They do the thing where they have like a sticky layer that goes down. So that's pulls all the crap off, right?
That's the thing. I had dust under my. I only put the screen protector on the Switch 1 once, and it had dust under there forever after, and I never quite cared enough to pull it off and try again. Wow. It always kind of annoyed me.
I can see that.
This one, the way they describe it on here is that it's got, what do they call it? A statically charged peel layer is what they say. Like the way their frame works, when you pull the tab and pull the sticky part off, supposedly there's some static element to the layer that you're pulling that kind of gathers dust to it as you're pulling it off. And sure enough, 0 air bubbles, 0 dust, like it's perfectly aligned. But again, you can get pretty close to this with a screen protector set that is less than half the price of this thing.
Well, so somebody told me years ago to do the screen protector, like to steam up the bathroom real good before you get in the shower. So I
also did that.
I pitched Intel when we went to the data center to the fab to see if they'd let us apply some screen protectors inside the fab.
Interesting.
So it's like there's going to be no less dusty place in the world, but they're like, no, you can't take your phone into the fab.
Whip your Switch 2 out in the Intel 18A facility.
Yeah, let's here's a multi-billion-dollar facility. I'm going to put a $3 screen protector on.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love that.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
As somebody who struggled with alignment and dust and stuff like that, it was really nice to see that, like, even kind of across the price spectrum, these things are getting harder and harder to screw up.
It's funny. Screen protectors are one of those things that I really eschewed the first few years of the smartphone era. And then as I've gotten older and I've started keeping phones longer, honestly, is the big thing. The time and the micro scratches that just are unavoidable from like putting something in and out of your pocket all the time kind of make me crazy. It's the one thing I don't like about my older watch is that the micro scratches on it are super visible in bright sunlight now, and it kind of irritates me. Yeah,
the Series 8 that I just traded in for this 11 was just like all the way around the edge was just scratch city. But
I think it's why I'm going to get an Ultra when I finally replace the 7 that I have.
Yeah.
I found, we talked about this briefly, but I wanted to shout it out because I was playing a lot of Metroid Prime recently. And I switched 2 grips that I like finally. People ask me about this all the time. It's maybe the thing that people ask me the most about the tech bot of anything right now that's not Linux related. And it's the Skull & Co. Neo grips. They come in either all black grips or red and blue, like Nintendo red and blue. And they have 3 different grabbies on them. So you can do 3 different, like, I want to say like length of protrusions. Like there's a big one, a medium one, and a small one. So you can have the amount of like grip to hold on to that you want. And you can still put it in the dock with the grip on. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's kind of hard to take the Joy-Cons off. Like you have to take the grip off to take the Joy-Cons off. But I wasn't able to find anything that let you take the Joy-Cons off easily, still go in the dock, and didn't look super janky or wasn't like just soft silicone that wasn't actually going to give you anything to grip onto. So this is I to be clear, I bought 4 of them and sent 3 of them back, and this is the one that I kept. So it's pretty good. It's kind of expensive. It's like $30. I think the ones that I liked was the Target House brand that I used to buy for the Switch 1 were $14. So it's a pretty substantial increase in price. Some of that may be tariff related. I don't know, but these are good. And with the 3 adjustable, 3 different grip sizes, they stay on. The replaceable grips stay on really nicely. And I was able to find something that was comfortable out of those 3. So
that thing is big.
It's not big and it's heavy enough.
That like got to invest in your ergonomics.
I mean, I have enough RSI problems that I want to not jack up my wrist, making it worse. So. Let's see. I could do. I got a rack for my bike that I can put small amounts of cargo on. Okay. And this isn't technology, really. It's just a thing. Like it's a piece of metal that screws onto the frame.
A bike is mechanical technology.
That's true.
It's just a bike, not an e-bike or anything.
We'll talk about e-bikes in a minute. But yeah, it's been nice because it means that like if I want to go pick up a quick run for small amount of groceries or something, I just chuck that on there with a box on the back and run to the grocery store, and it takes less time. Like it's just nice to have the dead time when I'm pedaling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Using the bike a little bit more has been really nice.
Exercise, convenience, probably. I would assume it's convenient.
It's kind of a pain in the butt to get out of the garage. I need to make that easier.
I was thinking kind of like at the grocery store. I assume they have bike racks there.
You'd think that.
Oh.
They do. They're just in a weird spot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the big thing for me is like I live a mile and a half from the grocery store, so it's like a 10-minute ride.
Yeah. That's fun.
And then it's a nice distance, and it feels like I've done something productive, and it's time to think that has no other pressure on me, which is nice.
Especially because it's not like city traffic down there, right? I assume it's not like crazed drivers every which way.
Oh, people are absolutely unhinged across the Bay Area these days.
That's just driving in America these days, it sounds like.
Yeah, there's a general lack of civility on the road that is worrisome to terrifying, depending on how big your car is, I guess.
Distressing. Well, hey, what if you had a car that was less prone to break down?
Yeah, I put electric cars on my list. This is, I think, our 5th year having an electric car. Is that right? We got the first one in 2021, I think.
Yeah, okay.
So it'll be end of April will be the end of the 5th, start of the 5th year, I guess.
Okay.
They're fabulous.
Yeah. I wanted to bring this up because, I mean, I'm not in a position to buy a car right now, but I feel like I'm at the point where I probably will get an EV by the time I am ready to get one, which it just seems like the benefits just continue to mount up.
Look, if you want, they're starting to make EVs that mimic in a skeuomorphic way manual transmission cars. That Ioniq 5N is wild.
That's always been the tension for me, as I've always wanted to own one more manual transmission in my life, and like those, I don't know, those are cool, but knowing that it's entirely fake, I don't know. I almost wish they would build the car in such a way that you had to do the shifting, and for some reason, then I would have, I don't know, find it more satisfying. But I guess that's just not how electric vehicles work, right?
But well, not really. No, they're just there's no transmission. It's all one gear.
Right. Exactly. There aren't gears as such. Here's the thing I read recently that was I think this was the lightning bolt moment of, it might actually be insane not to buy an EV. And maybe you have more insight into this. This was a thread on Blue Sky, all anecdotal. So, correct me or them if this is not actually a thing. What was being claimed was that dealerships are starting to go out of their way they're starting to do anything they can to not sell you an EV.
A lot of dealerships do not like EVs at all.
And the reason for that is that they make so much money from ongoing maintenance of the vehicle you bought from them.
100%.
And the EVs require so little maintenance that they are just grumpy as hell over the fact that they're going to sell you a car and then maybe never see you again, or very rarely.
The maintenance, so like we get free, so we bought we leased the Hyundai, which comes with free maintenance, free scheduled maintenance for 100,000 miles or something. And like we bring it in, they rotate the tires, they apply whatever software updates or recalls have happened to it. And it's usually there for like 9 hours, and then I pick it up and it's gone. Now that whether dealers dislike it or not varies wildly from dealer to dealer. So like in the Bay Area, they're pretty pro-electric. And we haven't had those problems either with the Chevrolet or with the Hyundai. I have heard there's the Ioniq subreddit gets a lot of horror stories from dealers who do shit that actively damages cars because they don't want to pull with electrics and stuff like that.
That seems illegal.
It's the normal thing where like you only hear the complaints, yada yada.
Yeah.
There's also been a kind of widespread large problem with the Ioniq 5s specifically, where they have a component fail that prevents the battery from the 12-volt battery from charging, not the big battery. But like generally speaking, yeah, it's great. We had that Bolt. The Bolt was incredible around town. You know, it was a relatively small battery, charged it off the 120 volt, and we didn't even put a fast charger in for that. It was not great on long trips because the high speed charging was pretty slow. The Ioniq is incredible on long trips. We drove to LA a couple times this year. Like it was one time we could have made it all the way from San Francisco, from Pacifica to North Hollywood, only stopping to charge once. We would have come in real hot, and we weren't sure what the charger situation was like at the hotel. We would have rolled in with like 9% battery left, which is 20 miles. So we did stop and just do a quick like 2-minute charge someplace along the way, but like that's unbelievable. It's 400 miles, 380 miles or something.
And when you factor in the progress from the Bolt to that Ioniq in 5 years or so, like imagine how much better they'll be in another 5 years.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if we're actually going to see that, because I think the charging infrastructure is much better now. The thing about the Ioniq is it goes from whatever percentage you're at to 80% in like 20 minutes, no matter what. Whereas the Bolt it could take up to like 90 minutes to get to 80%.
Yikes.
Depending on how, like worst case, if it's really hot out or something like that.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good experience all around.
Yes. So this whole conversation might make me ponder the notion that the car dealership is obsolete. But perhaps it's time for direct sale to consumer. Apologies to any listeners whose family owns a car dealership, but
that was the pitch that Elon Musk made for Tesla early on.
I know that was one of the big Tesla innovations, and you certainly don't have to hand it to Elon Musk, but maybe.
I will say it's really nice having a place to take the car when they need to apply. Like we got the fix for that ICCU problem, and it would have been annoying to have to drive 100 miles to go to a service center or something, right?
Assuming the car could even make the 100-mile trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So like, but I think part of it is that the incentive structure and all that needs to change. Like it is an industry that if the electric shift continues is going to have problems. And also it's also worth mentioning, we do live in a very temperate climate. So it's not like when it's cold out and we run the heater, then you get a lot less mileage. And it's not ideal, but 99% of the time, it's like the last time we rented a car, and we were like, oh, we should get a gas car, was when we were driving up into the kind of rural eastern or western Sierras south of between Yosemite and Tahoe. And we were like, I don't know that there's going to be electricity where we're going, much less a place to charge. So we rented a big SUV and with 4-wheel drive, so we wouldn't have to do chains and all that stuff.
Yeah, and in fairness, the ceiling on EV improvement is largely capped by battery technology, and that seems to not be going anywhere anytime soon. So,
yeah. Do you want to talk? I think that's it. Is that all of our stuff?
I've got one more.
Oh, and then we have some community noms.
Yes. Okay, last one for me. This is the other open sourcey one that I wanted to mention.
Okay.
I got this tip from the Linux channel on the Full Nerd Discord. Somebody posted an episode of the Linux Unplugged podcast.
Okay.
I'm sorry to bring a competing Linux podcast in here.
Wow.
But they did score an interview with Kent Overstreet, who is the maintainer and kind of main developer of Bcachefs.
Okay.
And this is not really about the file system. It's more about something he said that really struck me in that interview. But I'll say very briefly, we should probably maybe we should do an episode on copy on write file systems at some point, but Bcachefs is a new kind of next generation super modern file system mainly being developed for Linux right now that I think the short version is it's basically looking like it might become what Btrfs never could, which is a ZFS equivalent that is license compatible with the Linux kernel.
And lightweight enough that you can actually run it on real hardware.
Yeah, he talks about that. Kent talks about that some in that it's funny. Okay, here I go talking about file systems.
I will listen to this interview. This sounds great.
It's quite good. He lauds ZFS quite extensively in that interview.
ZFS, just to be clear, one of the reasons we started this podcast 6 years ago, 5 years ago.
A primary fixation of mine as I tinker with my server here, but he praises ZFS extensively in there. He never utters the word Btrfs once.
Okay.
And to be clear, look, people use Btrfs for all kinds of things. Like it does the jobs that it does seemingly pretty well. It has had reliability problems over time that it has not been able to shake, whether still extant or in the past. It's got a reputation, and that's kind of the reason this file system even exists. Is it's kind of a second stab at
like the reproducibility and like letting you do shadow volumes and stuff like that.
File integrity, snapshots, logical volume management. We'll get into it later, but
I want to talk more about this. This sounds fun.
The conversation was about the funding model for this thing and the way he's supporting himself right now, which is effectively entirely on the support of Patreon.
Okay.
And like, they didn't get into this too much. Apparently he's like, this sounds crazy. He's apparently like living out of a van in South America right now.
Wow.
Like by choice. It's, they didn't go too much into it. It sounds like he's just by choice living kind of a nomadic lifestyle.
Is he a van life influencer too?
I pulled up a couple talks with him after this. He's got long hair. Like he seems like a bit of a free spirit, but anyway.
Okay.
Here's why I'm bringing this up. And what the conversation was actually about was he was lamenting the fact that there has not been a lot of corporate support of development of Bcachefs so far. This may sound reminiscent to you of like the conversation with Jean-Baptiste Kemp around VLC, for example.
We had this conversation with multiple people whose software was used by hundreds of millions of people around the world.
Right. So he was kind of saying, we haven't seen a lot of support from companies who might already be, I mean, it's an experimental file system. So he said it is starting to show up in production, but it's still pretty early. But, he's like, I'm mostly getting by on support from end users right now. And the hosts were like, how does that make you feel? Because if this thing goes where it seems like it's going, this becomes a linchpin of like big enterprise Linux storage deployments in the future. How do you feel about the fact that a bunch of corporations are going to make astronomical amounts of money over the next 10 or 20 years on the work you're doing right now?
Yeah.
And he had like the most magnanimous answer I think I have ever heard to something like that, which was, I'm paraphrasing, but he was basically like, I don't care about that. I don't think about that. What I care about is writing good, clean code that end users can run on their computers.
Wow. He's a bigger man than I am.
I care about, right.
If I wrote something that 100 million people were using and I was making $30 a month on it, I'd be fairly upset, I think.
It's like kind of the curl thing though, again, like we interviewed, Daniel Stenberg, the maintainer of curl has just like, there are billions of installations of curl in the world and
it's run on Mars,
right? Like it's on practically every device that has an open source operating system on it and is used for something. But like it's that classic problem, but like Kent was just like so open about like, I care about the people on our or actually, sorry, not Discord, IRC. They have an IRC channel,
nice.
Of course, not a Discord. But like, he was like, I care about the people on IRC, the people who are sending me bug reports and helping me debug issues, and people who are just running things in their home labs. He was like, I love home labbers because they're the ones who actually send you issues and will send you logs to help you fix them. And like, he very much
That's
was
awesome.
like, he very much was like, I'm doing this for the love of the work and the quality of the work, and I'm doing it for the little guy, the people on the ground who are going to benefit from it, not the, not enterprise companies that are going to sell storage appliances for $100,000 using my file system in 10 years or whatever, it was just kind of really refreshing to hear.
One of the things that's been really interesting is like submitting bug reports to Neri and Noctalia Shell and stuff like that. How both like I submitted a bug report for something that had been fixed, and it was in the fixed but not released yet category, and I just missed it. And they were like, "Oh yeah, no big deal. Hey, we fixed this. It'll be in the upcoming release. If you want to get it, you can subscribe to the Git one instead." And blah blah blah. And it's like, "Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much." Yeah. And like, there wasn't a "Hey noob, we fixed this already." They were legit thrilled that somebody was willing to take the time to submit a bug report.
Yeah,
and it's heartwarming. It's
I think I've mentioned
this. Is awesome.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned this before, but like probably the first really eye-opening, heartwarming open source experience I had was filing a couple bugs on GitHub for OwnTone, which is the music server that basically emulates kind of iTunes style AirPlay. Like it serves music to AirPlay targets in your house. Anything that can play AirPlay, it'll see that and can stream music to it. And like the maintainer, at one point, the maintainer literally just forked the project and made one little change and said, hey, pull down this repo that I just spun off here and build that and run it, and then send me this log output, basically.
That's amazing.
And I sent it to him, and within like half a day, he had fixed the bug I was having. And it was just, and he seemed very appreciative that I had filed the bug and was willing to do the testing. And like, that's another free piece of software. That's not making billions of dollars, but like, it's still somebody leveraging their expertise to just make something cool and put it out in the world that people can benefit from.
I love it.
It's a good thing. The last, real quick, this is like actually newsworthy. It came out of that interview on Linux Unplugged that Valve is sponsoring Bcachefs now.
Oh,
like
nice.
He didn't go into a ton of detail other than he talked kind of obliquely about effectively like Valve has really stabilized the funding situation here and has made, because he said like this, it's a file system. It needs 5 or 7 engineers on it, not just me. So it's largely about getting him some help. But like, I am a hopeful / a little desperate for that thing to become the thing.
Should we make 2026 the year that we sponsor some Linux projects?
Maybe. I don't know.
We're not like, it's not like we're incredibly flush over here.
No,
but we could chuck $50 a month at something.
Should we just become a conduit for some kind of charitable nonprofit, something? But the thing I was going to say though is like, I really hope that Bcachefs gets there, because Linux, the modern file system situation on Linux is kind of dire and it needs it. And Valve getting behind this and giving it their stamp of approval and presumably helping out at least monetarily, if not also development wise, seems like a very good sign that this thing is going to get where it needs to get to.
Does Steam Deck do Btrfs? I think it does.
I don't know. It's not, I mean, like I should say, if we ever do the copyright and write episode, like they're not necessarily the most performant file systems. They're not for that. They're for resilience. They're for making sure that the data doesn't get eaten or that is replicated, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, it may be that like Valve may be putting money behind this because they run Steam servers in addition to Steam client software. Yeah. So it's cool. That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so we have a couple more categories here. We have things that weren't great. But then we also have, I started a thread in the Discord and asked for community noms, and we got a bunch of good suggestions.
Yeah.
So let's do the grind our gears, the Andy Rooney segment first.
Sure.
And then close with the community stuff.
There's just a couple of them. They're not a huge thing.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Again, compared to some of what's going on out there that everybody knows about. Yeah,
the larger, like I said, AI, politics, economic collapse, climate. Like we could just go on. And shitification.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking hate when parents give their kids, I'm air quoting here, toys that aren't really toys or that they don't understand. So we have an e-bike gang in Pacifica.
Oh. Wait,
They're like middle school kids that ride around on like e-bikes that are effectively electric motorcycles that go about 40 miles an hour.
damn, do they really go that fast?
They go insanely fast.
Huh.
And they're completely unsupervised, and the response in the community has been, oh, boys will be boys. But also they're going to fucking die.
I was going to say that those are extremely unsafe speeds to be. Like that's not a bicycle speed. That is a. I hope they're wearing helmets at least, but that is a fall off, and that's a wreck and potentially kill yourself speed.
So it's not even that. It's that they're riding these 40 mile an hour electric motorcycles in the same way that they would ride bikes, but they're doing stuff like riding down the middle of US 1, which is a 4-lane undivided highway.
Whoa.
Doing wheelies and shit.
What? Isn't that the one that goes by the Taco Bell?
Yep. It's
like
a big road.
The one that goes by the beach?
Yep.
That's like the
and
highway.
They're like 12, 13 years old.
That's like the highway that goes through that
It's
area. What the fuck?
50 mile an hour highway.
That seems insane to ride a bike on that.
They get out on the beach and ride in the surf.
Great.
Which is illegal for a couple of different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And they do things like riding the wrong side of the street at the cars go 25 miles an hour in the neighborhoods, and they're going 40 miles an hour and like in all sorts of traffic and without lights on and wearing all black and all that. Don't get your kids toys that they're going to be unsupervised if you're not going to teach them and make sure that they use them right. This also applies, just to be clear, to things like stuffed animals that use AI to talk to your children. For the love of God, don't get those for your kids or grandkids or whatever, because they're going to learn all sorts of horrible stuff from the unregulated AI. And like, don't give access people. Like we know now social media is bad for a whole host of reasons. But the LLM stuff is profoundly damaging.
They literally made a horror movie about this like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Take a lesson.
So there's 3 of them.
Yep.
What you got?
Mine is not a new thing, but I am very frustrated that it's still around. Which is, I fucking hate when you buy a product that is cool.
Yeah.
And then you find out that they just cheaped out on manufacturing.
It's the worst.
And so it doesn't work right. But specifically, it's like if the product sucked conceptually, like in the design sense, whatever. It was bad anyway. What drives me crazy is when, I know I've invoked this many times, but for example, that DBX channel strip I've got, like that thing has a fantastic feature set. Like it's kind of everything that I need in a post processor behind my microphone. It just doesn't work right.
Yeah.
And here's the more recent one that is really bumming me out.
Oh no.
I've had to become familiar with the concept of chattering in the context of mechanical keyboards. Are you familiar with this?
No.
Have you heard about this?
No.
You never? Okay, well, you've probably maybe have got better mechanical keyboards than me.
I bought a really expensive, I own 2 really expensive mechanical keyboards.
So I have a Keychron K5 Max, and like I knew Keychron was kind of an entry level brand when I got in. I bought it a year ago, September. So it was about 15 months of straight usage since I got it. I love the keyboard. Like it is everything I could want in a starter mechanical keyboard in terms of the wireless features and how it feels. And like, it's a QMK keyboard. I assume you've messed with that, like the flashable firmware.
Yeah.
So you can,
my control drop is a QMK keyboard
so,
too.
So you can customize all kinds of, right. And you can like flash all kinds of cool customizations to it in firmware. Like there's nothing I would change about it design wise. And I would have happily paid like another $50 for it. It was $100 or like 110 or something. Like I happily would have paid more for it. Oh, sorry. I should have said what chattering is. Chattering is when the keys start registering multiple presses on one physical press or multiple.
So I had
inputs.
this happen with my mouse switches a few years ago when
that,
Logitech was using those shitty switches. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so that's what the mouse switch problem was. Okay.
Yeah. It was either registering none or doubles. Like, and it would sometimes register singles, but it was sporadic. It was really frustrating.
Okay. I think I'd probably take doubles over none if I had to pick.
Doubles were
well,
for a person who plays a lot of first person shooters, doubles were real bad.
Depends on what you're doing for sure. But I need to investigate it some more. I'm not quite sure where I'm at with it right now, but everything I've read about this is I've mostly seen people saying like, yeah, chattering is a way that cheaper mechanical keyboards start to fail. And again, I love this keyboard. I bought a second cosmetic set, a different colored key set, and I was thinking about buying a third. Like I really like this thing. And I don't know if it's like classic cold solder problem or what. It could
just be bad switch. Did you try switching switches?
So a little bit, yes. That's why the $99 one of these has the kind of non-user or non-hot swappable switches, I should say. Like you have to solder. I paid the extra $10 or $20 and got the one with the hot swappable switches.
Yeah.
The thing is, the switches I have swapped so far have not always necessarily fixed the problem, or maybe more to the point, there are so many keys on this keyboard that are randomly doing the double inputs. But it's hard for me to believe that it's all the switches failing at one time. And it makes me worry that it's more in the electronics of the board itself, because like it just does not seem plausible to me that so many, I mean, it's been like 24 different keys on this keyboard at one time or another in the last month have been started doing double inputs and then stopped. Like it'll come and go. And it's just hard for me to believe I should swap some more switches, but I worry that it's an underlying problem with the board and not individual switches.
So I bought cheap switches at one point to test something out, and I had them all fail, and they failed on like a bell curve distribution where like at first one or two got janky. I think it wasn't a cheap keyboard. It was an old Logitech G Pro that had that worked with Cherry MX switches. And I had bought a bunch of different types of switches from AliExpress to try them. So they were almost certainly knockoffs of real switches. But they literally started failing on a bell distribution where like first a couple were going every once in a while, and then a whole bunch failed at once, and then it kind of tapered off. And then pretty soon I realized I'd switched every freaking switch on the keyboard. So yeah, I don't know. It may not be disaster.
Okay. Yeah, switches are not super. I mean, in fact, I have a huge amount of replacement switches that I bought.
Yeah.
These are Gatorons, which I think are decent. I think that's a decent
good
switch brand, and I bought them straight from them, so they can't be knockoffs or counterfeit. But
just make sure you keep the bad ones separate from the good ones, because that's the real tragedy.
I've got a batch of used ones already. But I mean, did you ever have them like go bad and then stop being bad? Because that's what's happening to me. Like it'll be these 6 keys one day, and then the next day it'll be a couple of arrow keys.
That seems like it's not switches.
That's exactly what I mean, is that it comes and goes on different keys depending on the day.
On the mouse double clicks, once it started getting worse, it just never got. It was not going to get better.
Oh man, I love this keyboard. Like it's everything I could want in a keyboard. That's such a bummer. And anyway, like, how is soldering the thing that doesn't seem to like?
Look, I don't know, man. I don't understand how you can make something that's a soldered board professionally and have it be bad at being soldered.
Right. Or we had
Sony and DBX and a bunch of other companies have cold solder problems.
We both had the same ish Sony receiver that had that problem on the screen. That was the same thing. It's just like how many decades have we been manufacturing consumer electronics?
I mean,
how is this still a problem?
I played Kaizen Factory Manager. I know how this works. You have the little robots, they push the thing there, and then the solder happens, and then you push it to the next one.
Got to save 5 cents per unit.
Yeah. Should we take, so we have a handful of community noms that people submitted. I think there's some real bangers in here.
Yeah.
I want to, since we're talking about keyboards, I want to talk about Patch's DIY keyboard that he made over this year. PCB design and the whole thing, manufactured.
Wow.
And they shouted out, Tate, just the whole custom keyboard scene in general, on top of the ability to get low volume PCBs manufactured now. It's not necessarily new, but it feels like it took off in a big way this year. And I think that's really rad.
Yeah.
We've come a long way.
Yes, absolutely.
A ton of people talked about Bazite, the immutable kind of, it's not really a fork of SteamOS, but it's like SteamOS for non-Steam, non-handheld consoles and for other non-Steam Deck handhelds.
Yeah, I think it's Fedora underneath, if I'm not mistaken.
It's Fedora Blue, yeah.
But it's got all the gaming stuff you need in it, kind of just built in, so you basically can just kind of install it and start playing games.
And importantly, it'll do for handhelds. It comes with configured mappings for controllers for like the Asus ROG Ally, stuff like that, and it will let you boot directly into the 10-foot interface if you want to set it up as like a console for your living room. A lot of people talked about self-hosting stuff, moving out of commercial cloud and moving to self-hosting using NASA's and Tailscale, so you can have secure, safe access everywhere, which I think is rad.
I think that was the most common one in there, is people moving to self-hosted music collections or Google Photos replacements or setting up their own NAS. That B-Link Me Mini seems to be pretty popular in the Discord.
Yeah, people like the B-Link Me Mini. I think C Music shouted out the M4 Mac Mini as well, which is a good call out because for like the $600 or whatever that thing costs, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, that Me Mini is rad. Have you seen it? It's kind of almost old school Mac trash can style.
Yeah, it looks very friendly.
It's kind of got a nice little embedded Apple-ish look to it. It's got 6 NVMe slots in it.
It's that thing. Yeah, I have seen this.
It's basically an N150. It's like the Alder Lake N, like kind of the little embedded x86 router box type things.
I need to get this in to test for PC World.
Yeah, you guys should do it. There is one caveat, and I don't know how many people on the Discord have run into this. Apparently, depending on how power hungry the SSDs are that you use with it, it maybe has issues supplying enough voltage to all of them. So that might be something that would be worth you guys testing. But
it also only has 16 gigs of memory max, I think, and it's soldered, which stinks. Yeah.
So this is this is a low impact, but it's like perfect for a tiny little thing that sits on a shelf that makes no noise because there's no spinning drives.
Is it it's an N150. So that was the other thing is people shouted out the N series Intel processors have been really good for like low power consumption, high power home lab. So if you live someplace where electricity is expensive and you don't want to run like a 100-watt machine all the time, these things are dope and idle at like 5 to 15 watts. So
and it's just the idea of the all SSD NAS is actually becoming a thing, which is something I've always been interested in because
we're getting there.
I see people occasionally say like, what do you need with 6 NVMe drives in a NAS when it's going over like a 1 gigabit network connection? And it's not about the speed, it's about the quiet and the cool.
Yeah, and no moving parts.
Maybe not cool, but like it's the size and it's size and noise and stuff like that. It's no moving parts. It's tiny, sits on a little shelf as opposed to a giant case with a bunch of hard drives in it.
Yep.
I will say real quick on the back of the N150 stuff, I've said it before, very excited about the Wildcat Lake stuff next year, which
me too.
All the rumors are that is the successor to the Alder Lake N chips based on manufactured on 18A. I think we talked about that with Adam a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I asked about it when we were at the Intel thing. No, they wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah, I think it's only been basically leaks and presentation slides that have come out about it so far. But as a successor to the little N100 boxes, it sounds like an absolute beast, and I hope to make one my router one day.
As somebody who's using one of those N100 boxes as my main server, I'm like, that thing's getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah.
And I would very much like to have, I'd like to wait until I'm waiting until that hits to replace.
Now, if only there are consumer SODIMMs available for sale by the time that thing comes out to put in one.
Don't even joke.
I had an even worse thought.
Yeah.
Because like I said, Wildcat Lake is by all accounts fabbed on 18A. Nova Lake, Intel's next desktop part, is going to be 18A. What if 18A is so good, or at least good enough, that all of Intel's new fab capacity on 18 and 14A gets consumed by NVIDIA and data center stuff, just like all the RAM storage? What if it's so lucrative for them to fab GPUs for AI data centers that the fabrication also starts going the way of the memory? I shouldn't even say this out loud.
Don't say it out loud. Look at what you've done. You did this. This is your fault, Brad. Ratman shouted out tiling window managers, which I freaking love tiling window managers. I don't know that I can go back now.
Wow.
And Pete and a bunch of other people talked about the AYN Thor, which is that dual screen software emulator box. The one that DS, looks like 3DS.
DS. I mean, that's in the tradition of the Anbernix and those other small Chinese manufacturers that make handhelds that basically are, hey, this is a DS, or hey, this is a PSP. Like they're not ashamed of just ripping off classic handheld designs wholesale.
Yeah, it's not hidden, really.
But those things are very cool. There's a lot of cool stuff out there.
It's good stuff, man. It's been a good. It's like they always say: you take the good, you take the bad, you take it all, and then you get sad. Is that right? No, I don't remember the rest of the song, but it's been an okay year.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot going on. We promise not to get into it. Nobody needs to hear it all relitigated again, but hopefully there's some stuff you can find to bring you some comfort.
Yeah. And it's nice because it's not just all stuff to buy. Linux is free.
Yeah.
You can just do Linux.
Yeah.
Like, it's been so fun learning a new OS at this level. I didn't expect my brain to get these feelings again. And it's like when I first saw Windows 95 or Windows NT 20 years ago, and I'm 30 years ago, and I'm kind of getting back in there again. Yep. So it's been a lot of fun.
I don't know if this is a good time to bring this up. There's a principle that I've had and half formed in my mind for a number of years now. I don't have a good name for it necessarily, but do you ever feel like there's like too much compute around? Or do you ever wish there was less compute? Do you ever wish you had to make do with less?
I've never in my life wished I had less compute.
I mean,
not one time.
Practically, I agree with you, but there's a certain part of me. Okay, maybe this is the Linux on PlayStation principle.
Okay,
like when the PS2 and the PS3 could install Linux, and you could straight up use them as a computer.
Yeah, North Korea made nuclear bombs with them. I remember.
Right. Yes. So the missile guidance, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish I had to do that.
Oh,
do you get what I'm saying?
The William Gibson version of the future.
The what is it?
The dystopian dumpster diving cyberpunk future.
The Henry Rollins, Johnny Mnemonic future. Yeah. The you have to scrounge old video game consoles out of a dump because there's no more computing to go around. Hey, don't worry, we're getting there. But like,
so
it's a kind of a, instead of doing something like that because it's fun and then forgetting about it as soon as you're done because you go back to your real computer. Like sometimes I wish like we had to make do with less because it would present a lot more interesting projects and problems to solve.
I feel like I moved here maybe 5 years too late to go to like the HP campus and dumpster dive.
Right.
Like I feel like that was very much a thing right in the like run up to the beginning of Boot Magazine in 96. Like those guys were going out and doing that some.
Right.
And by the time I got here, they started padlocking all of their fucking dumpsters because, you don't want the riffraff to get the good leftover CRTs, I guess. I don't know.
Yep. Another version of this I've mentioned before, like I'm kind of sad that I missed the true multi-user time sharing era of computing. Like
I don't miss that at all. That was awful.
I probably would have hated it if I'd ever touched it, but
it stunk.
On mainframes and mini computers where, there was only so much computing to go around. So you had to run multiple users on the same machine. Like, yes, that's very limiting, but it also sounds like a really fun, interesting problem to tackle. Nope,
it just sucked. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, sure.
There's good nostalgia and bad nostalgia. What I will say is, I don't mean to take this away from you, Brad. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be so negative.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, I if I was actually dealing with that day to day, I would probably hate it.
There's an idea in the Neil Stephenson book, Seven Eves, the one about the end of the world with the moon exploding. That's not a spoiler. It's literally the first sentence of the book. But they get to a point where he's talking about IC design, integrated circuit design, and literally says, like, the peak of this was this period of time because after that, the electromagnetic, like you had to have such a perfect confluence of events in order to build 4 nanometer circuits that like they're not robust outside of this very specific point in time and yada yada. And I think about that a lot. I think about, like, have we built technology that's like, the technology stack has become more and more brittle as we've added more complexity to it. And I look at things like the dual multi-chip packages, system of chips package designs and things like that, and look at all the complexity that goes into something that used to be simple, like where do threads run. And I wonder if we're overcomplicating things to the point that it's all going to collapse at some point.
Yeah,
I don't think it will.
No, but probably not.
But it is getting increasingly complicated in a way that is challenging. It's one of the things I like about Linux is because it buries you back down to the kind of bare bones version of things. Yeah. Anyway,
but what if that guy who's serving his homepage on a Wii
is he still doing that?
I think so.
It's amazing.
I think I've got it bookmarked somewhere. What if I love loading a web page that I know is being served off of some guy's hacked Wii, but like, what if he was doing that not just because it's cool to serve your homepage from a Wii, but because a Wii was all he had to serve a homepage with?
This is like, I think about the mesh network folk, and this is the future we deserve, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anyway, I think that's as good a place as any to wrap it up.
Yeah, happy 2025.
Happy 2025. Maybe 2026 will be better in every way possible.
One can hope.
And that'll do it for us this week. Thanks everybody for listening. As always, if you would like to talk about this, you can get in the Discord. You can go to patreon.com/techpod and sign up for $5 a month to get access to the Discord, where you can let us know what you thought about this list of things that we listed here. You can give us your own suggestions for things that you think are dope. We might do a follow-up in the patron episode. We'd love to hear from you. You can go to, again, it's patreon.com/techpod. And we want to thank all of our patrons, but a very special thank you to our executive producer tier patrons, including Jason Lee, Nextlander.net, it's .com. I don't know what that's all about.
I'm not sure. Does somebody else own the .net? I don't know. The site does not support a secure connection. I'm closing the tab.
Andrew Slosky, Jordan Lippett, Bunny Jerk, David Allen, James Kamek, and Pantheon, makers of the HS3 high-speed 3D printer. And I think I got Jason Lee at the beginning, but maybe I didn't. So thanks to Jason Lee as well. Thank you all so much. We appreciate each and every one of you. And
we sure do.
Please, if you can't support the show financially, because times are tough, we get it. Don't sweat that. Go hit a review on iTunes or YouTube or wherever your podcasts are listened to. Those help us a ton. We appreciate each and every one of them. If everybody who was listening to this did that for us in 1 week, it would be a huge impact for us. We would really appreciate that.
It sure would.
Thanks again. We will see you all next year. And as always, please consider the environment before printing this podcast.